Cindy here with Pathways Homestead. So I had a tragedy with the three sisters in the little garden, and my popcorn did not make it. It got flooded out, and so I did plant before the rains were real bad, and I did plant my ornamental corn in the big garden here. So I'm just gonna do my three sisters with the ornamental corn, which I had planned on, and I have replanted popcorn or Gary has replanted popcorn in the little garden, but we'll see how it does when it comes up. So like I told y'all in part one of the three sisters, you want the corn to be up before you plant the beans. And so the corn is up, and I'm gonna go in and plant the beans and the squash. So part two of the three sisters is going to be the final version. I know I told y'all there'd be 3 parts, but I'm gonna combine 2 and 3 together because we're getting so late in the year that it needs to go, and it's not gonna hurt anything to plant the beans and the squash at the same time. So I'm going to plant at least one variety of beans in here. I'm going to do the Cherokee Trail of Tears beans in with my ornamental corn, and then the squash, I'm going to start out with my butternut squash, and it's Wilhelm's butternut squash, and then I'm going to finish out with acorn squash. So hide and watch part 2 of the three sisters. So here's what my beans look like, and I'm just going to poke holes by the corn stalks and plant 1 to 2 seeds in each hole. And so here's what my Trail of Tears beans look like. These are ones I got from Seed Savers last year at a local hardware store, and this year they didn't have them, but when we were at Baker Creek had them, and I picked some up. So I will be able to plant these this year, maybe the whole way. We'll see, since I have the other package from Baker Creek, but we'll see how that goes. Let me get my squash and show you them. I have squash, butternut squash. It's Wilhelm's butternut squash that I got from a local hardware store. And then I also have Table Queen acorn squash that I got in the reduced seeds site at Dollar General. So here's a kick for Dollar General. Sometimes I catch their seeds in the fall when they're clearancing them and pick them up. So I get a lot of my flower seeds that way from there and Dollar Tree. I know a lot of people are like, but that's what I do. So you do what you gotta do when you do what you do. So here we go. So I'm gonna start with the beans, and then I'm gonna layer in the squash. everybody, I was able to get all 16 rows of my ornamental corn. I was able to put in the Cherokee Trail of Tears, the Cherokee Trail of Tears beans in all 16 rows, as well as all 16 rows of the butternut squash. And Hannah and I love the butternut squash. We had to have a change in our diet for our health, and so she and I are potato crazy, and so we have replaced, especially our favorite soup, which is potato soup, we have replaced potatoes with the butternut squash and made a creamy squash bisque that has a lot of onions and garlic in it, and as well as some other things. And this winter I will be cooking that for sure, so I will let you watch me do that and give you the recipe then. So this concludes the Three Sisters, and I have lots of other companion planting methods I do. I've started this year, I started with onions in with my brassicas, and so I have onions planted in with my brassicas, and I also will go up into the squash where I planted the zucchini and the yellow squash, and I'll put nasturtium plants in. I'm going to put basil plants in with my tomatoes and peppers, and I'm going to seed marigolds just sporadically around the garden and other flowers. So hopefully my dreams come true. That's my plans. Hopefully I'm able to accomplish those, but we'll see. So hide and watch.